mich mal mit meinem Amaze-Avatar mal auf den Weg machen, zurück in die Exhibition, damit wir uns gleich die Spiele, über die wir dort sprechen wollen, angucken wollen. Ich muss die erstmal finden. Und die sind schon da und wir könnten die schon rein theoretisch reinholen. Vielleicht sollten wir das mal tun,
Genau.
oder? Muss ich
Dann
noch
sollten wir
irgendwelche
das mal
Kopfhörer
tun.
aufsetzen? Nee, ne? Die sind so safe.
Nee, die
Nice.
sind ja hier bei
Nice.
uns.
Ja, genau.
Wir müssen nur auf Englisch wechseln.
Oh, yeah, well,
That's our speciality. Nina.
yeah, we'll get
So,
into that in just a few seconds. Hi, you
let's
guys.
switch to English
Hey,
and
hello.
let's introduce
Hello.
Dr. Jens Stober and Lukas Kauff. Hi guys, welcome. Nice to meet you here in our virtual studio in Hamburg. Nice to meet you.
It's
I'm
very
Anu.
nice to have you.
Thanks for having us.
So we're let's start with introducing yours. Let's start with you guys introducing yourself. Maybe we start with Lukas. Lukas, who are you?
I'm a game designer from France. I'm studying at Rubica, which is a video game school. And I am aiming to become a producer later, after my master's degree.
Huh.
And I've done crowd also,
I
with
see.
a couple of mates.
Okay. And then,
And Jens, who are you?
yeah.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jens. Or moin, I'm from Germany. So Stober is correct, but doesn't mind. I'm a media artist. I've studied media art in Karlsruhe at the University of Arts and Design. Later then I finished my PhD at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology at the Games and Experimental Entertainment Laboratory about brain-computer interfacing in combination with virtual reality to produce game art and exploring the borders of what's possible with computer games.
And what did you bring us? It's a very complicated topic. I read something that Lukas, you're developing human joysticks or like joysticks out of people. Explain us a little bit. What is your what are you doing?
Yeah, so the initial concept for crowd was to using a lot of people to really take their positions and movements within the real life space and plugging that in the game. I mean, in any game, actually. The game is really something we developed quite quickly, but you could plug any game onto our controller. I would call what we developed a controller rather than a game.
Sounds
No.
interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't only sound interesting, but also it does give a whole bunch of new opportunities for people who can't just use controllers, right? Because just yesterday we've had a talk about people who are not as well enabled with using the controllers that most people are used to. So making yourself into a controller would probably help a lot with enabling more people and more diverse people to actually access games, right?
Exactly. The thing is, anyone could play or game. Children, you don't need any experience in video games. You just need to know how to move. So in terms of accessibility, it really is a cool thing, I believe.
Jens, how are you connected to this topic?
It's more getting the information of movement, but more the imagination of movement. So using your brain as a controller to control the game, which is also which is coming the topic from a medical perspective. So brain-computer interfacing is used or was established for helping handicapped people to interface with the computer. And meanwhile, we have shift going to consumer electronics, so that there are products available like this device here, and a neuro headset that plugs in your prefrontal cortex, but
Wow.
just lays on and uses some data.
The plug-in part just confused me a little. I was like, yeah, Matrix,
Yeah, it's
go
not.
on.
It's not really plugging in. It's that's stuff that Elon Musk does. If you go really inside the brain, use invasive electrodes. So this sits on your skin and detects some electromagnetic waves that you can interpret it and use them for as a meditation or concentration level to really grab really simple data. But you can also use an EEG cap that uses up to 60 or even more electrodes to calculate or really sense information that comes from the motor imaginary center of your brain and detect visualized motion that you then can use to interface with the game. And during my studies, I explored this field and wrote my PhD about it and did some artistic experiments with the technology that is available and tried to do my best and to create a game that you can play with your brain.
That's so
And at
crazy,
the end,
though.
the idea was to really create a game that also plays probably you. So the technology is not that far, not that easy to use, and also not
Yeah.
that cool as it sounds. But you can create something with it that also makes something. It's not like you think of bananas and bananas appear. You have to teach the computer that what it means that you think about bananas.
Yeah, so there's probably a lot of practice involved, right? I can imagine that those kinds of controllers do, just as other technical extensions of the body do need some time to figure out, especially if you use your thoughts and the basically physically electromagnetic waves and stuff like that to use stuff like controllers like that. And I think it sounds really cyborg, actually.
Yeah.
Jens, you're pretty famous in Germany, at least, for your first game, 1,378 kilometers, which fits perfectly to our topic of borders. But it doesn't really connect to the things you just mentioned, or did you
Yeah.
find any connection between
There
those two
is
topics?
connections.
Okay.
But it took some while that I recognized them. So I was concentrating during my PhD working on hacking and getting involved into hacking in the hacker attic and also exploring myself as a hacker. And hackers also like to cross borders. And 1,378 kilometers was about the inner German border situation, but my whole artistic experience and my whole artistic life is about exploring the borders of computer games. So the serious game was more about exploring what is possible with society in Germany, and the brain-computer interfacing game is more about what is technologically possible and what is probably an interface for the future. So exploring this border. So also crossing the border.
Yeah. I just got a video of
Yeah.
Write Your Mind, and I'm right now mirroring that, so there might be, I think you guys are not showing right now, but at least the people in the stream can see what it's all about, what we're talking about, and how it's kind
the
of
concept
working.
is also old. It's from 2012.
Oh,
and
nice.
The playable prototype is published in 2015.
Yeah.
So, and it's also using the first Oculus versions, or this is the DK2, I guess, and the emotive Epoch headset that senses up to 60 channels electronic electrocardio. I am confused right now in English. But it
Electro
senses brain
stuff. There's
data,
stuff involved.
and it's doing this somehow. It's more like a lot of magic involved. Yeah.
It does
Within
look like a lot of magic. I haven't seen the video yet, so I'm intrigued.
And the idea is that you travel through a representation, a virtual representation of your brain data. So the brain data is used to generate the game and also influence the gameplay. So it's more a neuro gameplay or brain-computer interfacing gameplay that produces a lot of feedback loops. So you you have to think about every motion that you do with the virtual reality headset translates into a new neural signal. And then you get into a loop. And at the end, I had three potential outcomes. Either you can control your brain like your hand at the end of playing the game, you get insane, or nothing. And it was very funny to explore this technology and also play around. And And also, I had some conflicts with hard researchers coming from BCI and neuro research that are doing medical research and told me it's more like don't do art with it. It's too serious to play around with it and do crazy stuff. They don't want this, and this is also relates to the other game that I made. So I'm crossing borders a lot. Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Lucas, did you experiment with VR or stuff like Jens?
Recently, actually, I tested eye tracking with the Tobii eye tracker, and I must say, like a few days before, I thought this was the next step in video games, but now that I see Jens's work, I must say he is a step further.
No, I don't think it's about stepping or being a step further just because there's more fancy tech to use something. I've experimented with eye tracking devices, and while I was at uni, at college, and I think there's a very significant chance for every kind of motion, a controller thing with your eyes and also with sound and voice, because that's what we've had last year. There were a couple of games with alternative controller systems. Don't get set on the mind thing. Go ahead with your eye thing. I would like to see what you do with the eye thing.
The mind stuff is not ready for the masses. It's more like gambling. It's nothing that you have a feeling of control. There's no illusion. It's just an illusion of control.
How long do you guys how long do you guys think are we using classic gamepads anymore?
Yeah.
At the beginning of the VR revolution, everybody was like, okay, maybe that could be the next step, and we will disable all monitors, and everything will be in VR. This obviously didn't happen. What do you think? How does the future look?
I would say that, and on the theme of VR, Half-Life Alyx showed us that it is coming soon. And I wouldn't say a precise number of years, but I guess it's coming soon, whatever soon means. But I would say around 5 to 10 years, because everything's going fast and faster in experimental works around controllers, but also them slowly coming on the market for the masses. So with VR now being very stable as a controller, I would say, and other things too.
Yeah, I think the same. VR has so much. There's so much money involved, and the content wasn't that great until Half-Life Alyx. But don't forget augmented reality, which develops in the shadow of VR. There's a strong trend, and I guess the combination of augmented and virtual reality will probably replace the controller that we know, the physical thing that we have in hand pretty soon or in the next years, because using your own hand is very cool. So
much more intuitive also.
Yeah, much more intuitive, and think about losing the connection to the controller. The brain stuff, in fact, these are toys, more or less, this stuff that sit on your skin. This is not, it's just playing around, and there are funny toys, and don't compare this with medical devices. Medical devices are out of space. They can detect very cool things, but in a gaming environment, you don't have a situation like in a medical condition in laboratory where you don't have any interfering stuff. This never happens. This is not living room compatible. Never.
Yeah.
And on the other way, the best detection rate that is possible with brain-computer interfacing is using invasive technologies. So you need to go into the brain and capture single neurons, like Elon Musk did this. So I don't know how far Elon Musk is with his neural link. This probably can become a controller in the future, but might take 10 years. That is mass compatible. So
should we take a look in the maze space at your games? Or maybe Lucas, you can tell us a little bit about what should have been.
Yeah, what should have been, because we were just blending it in before. I'm standing in front of your sadly canceled exhibition because the only way to like really experience what you've created is by being the controller. And since we had to switch to virtual things, it's not as, how would you say, accessible anymore. So please at least tell us what we are supposed to see.
Yes, so Crowd is about placing a camera above a lot of users, forming a crowd, as the name says it. And in fact, the players have to coordinate all their movements, probably, essentially find the leader who gives order to the rest, for them to all go on the right at one point, or on the left. And they really need to, within a large group, find a way to go along the game. And they have to pick up collectibles, simple stuff. But the real challenge is how, as an individual, can I fit within a large group and still have my input into the game.
We can see the video right now, and it looks like there needs to be at least one leader or at least some kind of teamwork. I like this kind of gameplay because it shows us how a group has to work together, just like a fish, like fish trying to get away from their predators. I think that was a nice shot where they all looking up and be like, okay, no, more to the left, more to the left. I think that's a very interesting way to understand a body or more together as a controller. Nice thought. And the next one is Flipper Volcano.
I love when
Oh, yeah.
art installations meet games, and like that's something that festivals can deliver in a nearly perfect way. And it's always said that you can't play these games outside of festivals, and now with the pandemic, it's even harder. So but I love going to festivals and play stuff like this. Great work.
True, that's true. So next one, as I just broke off Manu, was Flipper Volcano. Let me see.
Can you say something about that?
Yeah, can you say something about Flipper Volcano while I'm trying to get the video working?
To get closer, I think.
Oh, there we go. Sock pop.
Oh no, that
Is it a
Crowd-
different one? Is it just
Yeah, it's
like
a
the
diff-
canceled ones and it's just crowd that?
no, I think the crowd one is yours, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it.
Sorry.
I haven't
We were-
worked on the other ones.
Okay.
We were
neither.
confused.
You could
for a
have
second.
told
Sorry
me
about that.
before. Otherwise, no, it's
No
fine.
problem.
It's fine. Don't worry. Like,
And he was like, "Why should I say something about it?"
Nina, what the are you talking about? All right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. But those are the ones that didn't work. And crowd has been your body control thing. That's nice.
Lucas, so it's how much work is it to like install the games you do, like for example, crowd?
Yeah.
So the first times we take about an hour and a half, but as we reinstall the games a few times, now we have a record at 20 minutes, like turning off the camera, putting it on a stick, joining it with our PC, and we are actually ready to go, and just need to put a wide screen in front of the players so that they can have the output, and that's basically it.
And then how much space do you need, or can you size that down?
Yeah, we need quite a large space, but the other challenge is to find a way, find a place where the people can make contrast with the ground. We need a lot of contrast for them to be seen by the camera, basically.
Do you use any special hardware or technique, like for example Kinect or stuff like that, or is it just a regular webcam?
It's a regular webcam, as you said, and but we were thinking of Kinect. Thing is, I've worked on another project using Kinect, and I got very angry at the explosion, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah.
I've never
So is it-
played anything with Kinect, so
I got a technical question, Lucas.
Mhm.
Are you using an OpenCV or for processing, or do you have something created by your own?
I don't know the term you
OpenCV?
just used. Is it an engine, game engine, or?
No, it's a middleware that is open source middleware that uses computer vision.
In fact, we have the Logitech webcam, and from their software, we are able to pick up the image input and to plug it directly into Unity
Oh, cool.
and use it then trafficking it to have the really make people into pixels to make it simple.
Nice. Should we go to Jens' game?
I think it's not part of the exhibition, so it's
yeah,
not
exactly. I
there.
have to like
It's,
switch back to a
hidden.
video, and
Yeah.
then we'll just see the video that I've shown before, which shows like the setup,
No, I mean
right?
I mean your first game.
Oh, the
which
first
is
the
game, like
first game.
the,
Yeah, we
the
can go
very
there.
first one. Yeah, I just give me a minute. I need to go there first. Wait. Almost there.
We had another artist talk today about your game. If guys are interested, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. So I told something about the history and the experiences that I created with it. There was a little scandal going on.
Mm-hmm.
What scandal?
What scandal?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
Like I'm just.
But
naively,
better watch the
I don't
video.
know.
It's not.
You
it's
have to
not-
watch the speakers corner from today.
Oh, okay. Oh, sad. I didn't have time
It's
for
10
that.
years old.
It's 10 years. It's 10 years old. Nina, don't worry about it. Yes, now I need to worry about it because you gave a hint.
So it was
Yeah.
not only about borders in the game, but you reached your personal borders as well with this game.
Yeah, I reached my personal borders and also got death threats. And
Yeah.
What?
I was under police security and had some. I was sued for what is the English term? The German term is Volksverhetzung. So I was the FBI, the German FBI, was behind me, and yeah, because of a game.
That's crazy.
It was.
That is
It
borders.
was so doing art and doing some artistic stuff, showing it to the world was then turning into a nightmare.
Much larger experience than expected. Yeah.
Yeah, and much more of a border, I can imagine too, like personal borders too. And
What-
yeah.
Were you always like, okay, no, I did the right thing, or was it like, did you have to find peace again with your game and the experience?
And no, I totally felt misunderstood. So
Of
it
course.
was more like, what happens here? So am I in a matrix now, or what happens to me? Is this real? Or even if I'm thinking back now, it's more like, what the
What the?
what's happening here? It's yeah, it was very unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the reaction
game
today
was-
is totally different, right?
Sorry?
But the reaction nowadays is totally different. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
totally
think
different.
changed a lot.
As soon as the game was available to play, everyone could play it and just thought that there is nothing to get crazy about. It's a game that is in an alpha state that works here and there and has some bugs, and if you shoot, you will lose. And nothing more. And it's set. The setting was the inner German border situation back then.
Yeah. But I also think that the reception now today would be totally different if the game would be released now. But a lot has changed in the media as well.
Yeah, the media and the society. So
Yeah.
it was that time where we had ongoing discussions about killer games and Ballerspiele
yeah.
in Germany, and had also some. And in this society, it was very mind breaking for a lot of people that a game can be serious. So the whole genre of serious games that we have now do know now wasn't there then. Also thinking about playing games in school was more like, what is he talking about? Is he going crazy?
Yeah, and not only
And
that.
this was just 10 years ago, or even having a university where you can develop games. So we, at the University of Arts and Design, we created the Game Lab 2009, which was then, I think, one of the first German universities having a game lab. And doing art with games and teaching this at a university is not so long ago, was not so long ago a topic that was not there.
Yeah, and also reflecting on a topic that is very serious and very personal to a lot of people still. Like if we imagine this situation is not so long ago, people still remember and people maybe still haven't really reflected on themselves and on where their position is. And I think that is also a topic that has changed because times have changed. And I'm really glad that we now live in a society that hopefully does take another stand in a lot of situations. And it's scary that you had to go through this and that you had to feel the backlash of probably a lot of personal not reflecting people too. So I feel for you. I'm sorry, my empathetic me is just like, oh no, this shouldn't have happened, because in a lot of places, very serious games like this, portraying borders not only within like real sense, but also within themselves, and also reflecting on those is a very difficult and also politic topic. Yeah.
I have another question for Jens. The work you now do you have the expectation to yourself to make like a real game out of it, or is it more like in your interest to be more like a scientific person and experimental person?
It's more like I have done the art stuff, and then I switched to science.
For science.
Getting back to art, because science is that field. So I'm also trying around to do some business. So I'm more a guy that tries a lot, that knows a lot, that does a lot, and makes a lot. So it's more like having fun is the main thing that I'm trying to achieve. And now I'm getting back to art again. And just exploring new things. So augmented reality is awesome. Reality I don't like so much. So together with my wife, I created a company that also is at the same time a art label. So we try to really interdisciplinary combine design art, interactive art with business. So and
a real Renaissance man.
exploring.
Yeah.
Lucas, what is your motivation for doing the stuff you do?
The teams, really. I couldn't do anything without cool artists, cool developers, because I'm none of them. So yeah, I really need to be within a group. I'm doing some stuff by my own, but the projects I'm most into are group projects for the school and outside school. It depends.
But do you aim to like work full time in the games industry?
For sure, yeah. And I am tending to go in the mobile industry because I've been doing internships in France mostly. And it is a field I quite love, actually.
Cool. Then we're looking forward to the new games and experimental stuff and everything you guys do.
Yes.
And I hope we see you on one of the next Play festivals. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Ja.
Das war super spannend.
Das war
Vielen
super
lieben Dank
spannend.
an die beiden. Hat
Ja,
sehr viel Spaß
tatsächlich.
gemacht. Und
Auch einfach, also die Themen, ich habe damit überhaupt gar nicht so
Großartig.
richtig gerechnet, also dass das so tief wird plötzlich. Darüber muss ich jetzt auch erstmal reflektieren.
Ja, und sehr schade, dass wir die Spiele von Lukas nicht jetzt ausprobieren konnten.
Ja.
Ich wäre gerne mit dir zusammen da rumgerannt, wie so
Ja.
ein Käfer.
Ja, genau, um irgendwelche Sachen einzusammeln in so einem abgesteckten Platz. Und ich glaube auch, das hätte auf der Ausstellung auch richtig, richtig gut funktioniert. Ich finde den Gesamtansatz so spannend, den eigenen Körper zum Controller zu machen, eventuell auch über Berührung und so. Ich finde das super, super cool und auch, wie ich schon gesagt habe, echt enablen für viele Leute, die eventuell auch sonst Controller so nicht benutzen können, wie wir das können. Diese Idee daran zu forschen und auch das mit dem Gehirnströme messen und so.
Großartig.
Krasser Scheiß. Was
Ich
auf
habe das
uns
mal in
zukommen wird,
irgendeinem
ne?
Museum habe ich das mal ausprobiert. Das war dann,
Ja.
ich habe mich gefühlt wie ein Jedi. Also
Ja, glaube ich. Das ist
nächstes
mega
Star Wars Spiel
cool.
vielleicht von Jens dann.
Ja.
Sehr schön. Hier geht es jetzt weiter mit der
Richtig.
Play Couch
Ja.
von Christian Schiffer. Natürlich hier bei uns auf dem Kanal auch. Ihr könnt auch rüberwechseln, wenn ihr interagieren wollt mit den Menschen, die da bei Christian auf der virtuellen Couch sitzen, nämlich die wunderbare Nina Kiel, habe ich ja vorhin schon von geschwärmt, meine geschätzte Kollegin.
Ja.
Dann Daniel Heinz ist noch dabei und Dennis Winkens und sie reden über Grenzen überwinden, natürlich, wie könnte es anders sein, Games und Diversität. Das schaue ich mir auf jeden Fall an. Und
Genau.
dann sehen wir uns danach zur Verabschiedung hier wieder um 19 Uhr.
Richtig, zum Rückblick. Und wir wünschen euch natürlich ganz viel Spaß. Lasst uns euer Feedback wissen. Zeigt uns all die ganzen tollen Dinge, die ihr entdeckt habt. Und lasst uns gemeinsam noch ein bisschen die Community aufleben lassen, auch auf dem Discord. Verbindet euch gerne, partizipiert auf alle Arten und Weisen. Das macht uns allen sehr Freude. Und wir sehen uns dann um 19 Uhr zum Rückblick. Bis dann.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Ciao.